Good afternoon, my dear students. Praise be Jesus and Mary. Today, I will discussing with you the first lesson of the module for the first quarter, which is the quadratic equation. So to start with, we're going to define first the quadratic equation definition. So a quadratic equation is a mathematical sentence of degree 2 that can be written in the standard form ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is the standard form of a quadratic equation where a, b, and c are all real numbers and a must not be equal to 0. So why is it that a must not be equal to 0? So we will going to find out. So our ax squared is what we call the quadratic term, and bx is the linear term, while c is the constant term. Now a while ago I'm asking why is it that a must not be equal to 0? Because if a is equal to 0, then the equation will be not a quadratic equation. It is mahimo na siya og linear equation. Say for example na atay 0x squared plus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, the value of our a, b, and c are respectively 0, which is our a, 3, which is our b, and 1 is our c. Now, kung 0 ang atong a, makancel nato ni siya kay 0 times x squared, that is equal to 0. So, ang mabili na lang nato, what will be remain is 3x plus 1, that is equal to 0. Now with this 3x plus 1, it is a linear equation. Why is it called a linear equation? Because the highest power of this equation is 1. So ang x, there is only one exponent. Whereas in quadratic equation, the highest exponent or the highest degree of the equation is 2. Again, the highest exponent of a quadratic equation is 2. So that is why ax squared is a quadratic equation, because the highest exponent of ax squared is obviously 2. Now, in our example number 1, we have 2x squared plus bx plus 5x plus 3, that is equal to 0. So as you can see, it is in standard form. It is in standard form. It is equal to 0. So now we are going to identify what are the values of a, b, and c for the given quadratic equation. It is in standard form. The quadratic equation is in standard form. So what we are going to do na lang is to determine the values of a, b, and c. Now, our a here is equal to 2. This is our a. Our b is equal to 5. And our c is equal to 3. Those are the values of a, b, and c with a quadratic equation 2x squared plus 5x plus 3, that is equal to 0. Now, in determining the values of a, b, and c, we have to make sure that the equation must be in standard form. Again, in order for us to determine the values of a, b, and c, we have to make sure that the quadratic equation is in standard form. This is the standard form of our quadratic equation. So it must be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c that is equal to 0. Now for example number 2. Okay, number 2, 3x squared plus 7x minus 1 is equal to 0. So as you can see, it is already in standard form. It is in standard form, so therefore we can directly determine the values of a, b, and c. So our a is equal to 3, b is equal to 7, and c is equal to negative 1. Okay, as simple as that. If the quadratic equation is in standard form. Now, how about hindi pa siya standard form? So, what we're going to do? So, kailangan pa nating i-transform, or we're going to transform the equation, a quadratic equation, into standard form. Okay, so say for example, we have example number 3. Okay, we have 2x times x minus 4, which is equal to 12. It is equal to 12. So again, it is not in standard form, but it is a quadratic equation. Hindi nga lang quadratic equation. So we have to put in mind that the standard form of quadratic equation, as what I said earlier, is we have ax squared plus bx plus c. The same ra siya, upper part of the scratch. Ax squared plus bx plus c, that is equal to 0. So how are we going to make this in standard form? Our example number 3. Okay, so we're going to distribute 2x for both x and negative 4. So i-distribute na to this 2x times x. So we have 2x squared. Next, distribute again 2x to negative 4. So 2x times negative 4, that is equal to negative 8x all over, that is equal to 12. Now, is it in standard form? Okay, not yet. Not yet pa ha. So what we're going to do, kinahanglan the right side of the equation must be equal to 0. So since napaman na siya 12 diha, what we're going to do is to transpose this 12 to the left side, so that ang mabili na lang sa right side will be equal to 0. What are going to do? So add both side by 12. Subtract both side by 12 para 0 na lang ang mabilin sa right side. Okay, so we have 2x squared minus 8x plus or minus 12, that is equal to 12 minus 12. So if nag-add ta sa right side or nag-subtract ta sa right side of 12, so we have to make sure that we are also subtracting 12 to the other side. So nag-subtract ta sa right side of 12, dayon mag-subtract pud ta sa other side of 12. So we have 2x squared minus 8x minus 12, And 12 minus 12, that is equal to 0. So therefore, it is now in the form of a standard form. So this form now is in a standard form. So quadratic equation na siya in its standard form. So this time we can now identify or determine the values of A, B, and C. So we have A that is equal to 2. Okay, nanatay 2. B is equal to negative 8. And C is equal to negative 12. Okay, that's all. So again, if the equation or the quadratic equation is not in standard form, we have to transform the equation into its standard form to identify the values of A, B, and C. Okay, for the last example, number 4. Okay, we have x plus 1 times x minus 8 equals negative 9. Is it already in standard form or not? Okay, it is not in standard form. So again, kung dili sa standard form, make the equation into a standard form. So transform this one into a standard form. Unsa atong buhaton? So x plus 1 times x minus 8. So during your grade 8 time, we discussed about how to multiply the two binomials. What we are going to do in multiplying two binomials, we are going to use the FOIL method. FOIL method. F stands for the first term, multiplying the first terms. O stands for outer terms, so we are going to multiply the outer terms. I stands for the inner terms, and lastly the L stands for last terms. We are going to multiply the last terms of the binomial. So these two, x plus 1 and x minus 8, are called binomials because they have the same two terms. Na sila'y pareha, na sila'y duha ka two terms. So by applying this one, first terms are these two, x and x. Multiply that one, x times x, that is equal to x squared. Next, the outer terms of the two binomials. The outer terms will be x times negative 8. So x times negative 8, that is equal to 8x. Next, the inner terms. The inner terms are 1 and x. 1 times x is equal to positive x. Okay, positive x. And lastly, 1 or the last terms which is 1 and negative 8. So 1 times negative 8 is equal to negative 8 equals negative 9. Now, is it in standard form? Not yet. So unsay kulang nato ani? So kailangan the right side of the equation must be equal to 0. Now, since napasay negative 9, so we're going to transpose this negative 9 to the other side, so that what will be remain in the right side is equal to 0. The same process with what we have done in example number 3. Unsa atong i-add diri sa negative 9 para mahimo siya 0. Okay? So ang atong i-add sa negative 9 is positive 9. Okay, so we have negative 9 plus 9 is equal to 0. X minus 8x plus x minus 8, that is equal to negative 9 add with positive 9, so that will be equal to 0. Now again, kung mag-add ta og any digit to the right side, make sure nga nag-add po ta sa other side og digit, the same digit as what we add to right side. Since 9 atong gi-add sa right side, so mag-add po ta og 9 sa left side. Okay, next we are going to combine the like terms. So x squared minus 8x plus sorry. So 8x and x are the same terms. They are like terms. So therefore, ato silang makombine. I'm going to erase this one. We have 8x squared, negative 8x plus x is equal to negative 7. Negative 8, since they are the same term, so combine. Negative 8 plus 9 is equal to positive 1 equals 0. Now it is already in a standard form. By that, we can now identify the values of A, B, and C. A is equal to 1. It is already understood that x squared has a coefficient of 1. Nasa'y numerical coefficient nga 1. In B, we have negative 7. And our C is equal to 1. Okay, so that's how it goes. That's how we are going to identify or transform the quadratic equation into its standard form, and how to are going to identify the values of A, B, and C. Now moving on. Okay, when B in our equation AX plus BX plus C is equal to 0, it results to a quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus c. Okay? So, it doesn't matter kung ang value nato sa b in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. It doesn't matter kung 0 ang iyang values of b, it is still called a quadratic equation in the form of ax plus c equals 0, since ang b is equal to 0. So it is still called a quadratic equation. Say for example, ax squared minus 1 equals 0. That is in the form of ax squared plus c equals 0. It is still a quadratic equation. Now, in second, negative 5x squared plus 3 equals 0, and x squared minus 1 equals 0 are still in the form of ax squared plus c equals 0. And it is still also what we call quadratic equation. Quadratic equation siya because ang highest niya nga degree or highest exponent niya is 2. Quadratic yapon siya kay the highest exponent of this 3 equation is 2. So it is still a quadratic equation. Now the same with when c is equal to 0, it is also called quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus 0. Say for example, we have 4x squared minus x equals 0. Negative x squared plus 5x equals 0. And negative 2x squared minus 5x equals 0. So as you have seen, c is missing. So it doesn't matter if c is missing unless the highest degree of the equation is 2. So naagapon sa highest degree of 2 or highest exponent, we have 2. So it is still a quadratic equation. Okay? So I hope you have learned something. So that's all for today's lesson. Thank you for watching, and I will be also sending you videos for our next lessons. Have a nice day and God bless everyone.